Family business makes no sense. So let's talk about it.
G'day, I'm John Kemfield, the Family Business Solutionist, broadcasting from Melbourne, Australia. This is another episode in the series, Family Business as a concept makes no sense. And today we're talking about emotional baggage. This is the fourth common cause of conflict in the series. We've got another 46 to go. First of all, let's define what we mean by baggage. Baggage is something you lug around with you so that you've got stuff you can use when you get to your destination. When we're talking about emotional baggage, we're talking about stuff that you brought with you at an emotional level, unprocessed emotions, influential emotions, things that will affect the way that you think, act, react and behave in the here and now that may have been brought forward 40, 50, 60 years from your childhood. Emotional baggage is a common cause of conflict in family business because it relates back to events, real or imagined, often during childhood, but it could be any time during the growing up years or later, which have had a profound emotional impact on one or more family members and are now creating difficulties, dysfunction, aggression, destructiveness within the family group that may then be translated into the business environment, causing damage on both fronts. Now, it doesn't really matter whether the event was real or imagined, provided somebody is able to believe that something that happened to them long ago is having a significant impact on their behaviours and their interactions with other family members now, we have a chance of resolving that conflict because we found something that, real or imagined, we are able to blame as a root cause. The word blame is important. We do not want to be blaming an individual for being difficult or even for being a complete arse where we can possibly find a thing or an event to blame instead. If we blame an individual, we are stuck in a personal spiral of conflict. And because people will invariably either defend themselves against blame or simply shut down, deny it even exists, that the event even took place or that they're doing anything wrong, we basically end up with nowhere to go. There's nothing we can do to resolve that type of situation. If, however, we can find the smoking gun, we can blame something that took place long ago for the disruption and aggression and conflict that the family is suffering right here and now, we can probably deal with it. I'll take you back to the case study we mentioned earlier on, Harry and Sally and Snowy, the poisoned goldfish. Harry, you may recall from the earlier episode, poisoned Sally's beloved goldfish by pouring bleach into the bowl. Whether or not that was the real cause of the two of them fighting like cat and dog for the following 40 years, up to the date when we had our meetings, is in a way irrelevant. Provided Sally is able to believe that that event triggered her hatred, we'll have to call it hatred, for Harry for the following 40 years as they grew from being young children through adolescence into young adults and so on, drove them apart. If she's able to believe that was the cause, and if Harry is now able to apologise for doing that thoughtless or vicious thing as an 8-year-old, if they are now able, as adults with kids of their own, to recontextualise that event and say, should never have happened, and it was poorly handled by us, by our parents, and in every way, but from our perspective now, I am able to forgive you and you are able to forgive me, and we've demonstrated that we regret the damage it's caused. We regret the death of Snowy himself or herself. Nobody worked out if he was a boy or a girl. But what we are able to do is say, from our perspective now, where we have a huge need both to have a happier life, to have a happier family, and to have a more effective business future, we need to get over ourselves and deal with this particular problem. Now we've got something we can deal with. And if that is adequate for enabling them to repair their relationship, or at least commence repairing their relationship and move on, well, the sites that I've spoken to subsequently, asking them, could it be this simple? Could this be the root cause? They basically said, in all likelihood, there's a lot more stuff that's gone on. Whatever took place has been reinforced subsequently, but if both of them are able to accept that was the triggering event, and we've now dealt with that triggering event and effectively put it to rest, then go with the flow. Take that gift and use it as a mechanism for getting the relationship back on the right track. So that's what we do. We say, let's take that emotional baggage off your back. Let's open up the baggage. Let's spread it out. Let's deal with all the nasty, smelly bits that are in there. Let's go and wash them clean and put them back, or let's just go out and buy you some new clothes. Just keep it clean. And everybody's happy. Now we can move forward. So that was the point about emotional baggage. Why does it happen? Well, we are all subject to two key motivators. One is rational thought, rational influences that come from thinking, and the other is irrational behaviors that come from emotion. Now, when there's a reasonable balance between the two, the rational side keeps the irrational side in check. The emotions are not negative emotions. They may not be driven by rational, logical thought, but they're not negative. And so if we don't have negative emotions and we do have a reasonable level of control of ourselves using our intellectual brain, our rational brain, then our behaviors are going to be okay. If we don't have intellectual control of irrational and perhaps negative behaviors, then we're going to have bad behaviors and potentially aggressive behaviors. That's where we have problems. Everybody has a different personality profile, which then gives them more intellectual or more emotional precedence in terms of how their behaviors work. Training can help, self-control can help, and keep natural tendencies under control for normal social functioning and for business functioning. But these are fundamentally the things that take place, and when we have emotional baggage, we have unprocessed raw emotions from the past which are impacting our thinking now because they haven't been dealt with. We haven't, like the 10 million other emotional events that have taken place, we haven't been able to let them go. We're carrying them with us. They are baggage. And the challenge, if we're resolving a conflict, is to uncover where does that come from, what is the root cause, and let's get rid of that luggage. So if we talk at three key takeaways from this video today. The first one is if there is a problem there which can be attributed to emotional baggage, attribute it to that. Blame, accept the fact that there is something going on, something going wrong, we need to work out what it is. Number two, if somebody thinks the event is real and it is clearly impacting them, treat it as though it is real. And number three, once you have buried or closed in the closet that piece of emotional baggage, you are then free to move on with a new set of understandings and the beginnings of a new relationship. So I hope that's helpful. If you have found it useful, please subscribe. Please refer this on to other people that you know who may get some benefit from these series of talks about common causes of family conflict. And I'll see you back at the next one sometime soon. Thanks for watching.